ground is 161 degrees. This lizard has been sitting on it for 2 hours. Not because it can't move, but because it needs to. It doesn't drink water, ever. It has lived at Reino Selva for 10 years, and it has never needed anyone to give it a drink. This is the Uromastyx nigriventris, and what it carries inside shouldn't be possible. The Sahara isn't just sand, it's 9 million square kilometers where the ground reaches temperatures that melt plastic, and water vanishes before it even touches the surface. Most land vertebrates simply cannot live here, but there are exceptions. Animals that don't survive the desert in spite of the heat, but because of it. The Uromastyx has lived in this desert since the late Eocene. More than 60 million years. While the continents were finishing their split, while the first horses were learning to walk, these reptiles were already here, perfecting the biological architecture that defines them today. The species that matters most to us here is the Uromastyx acanthurura nigriventris, the black-bellied Moroccan Uromastyx. The most extreme, the most chromatic, and the one that has been part of Ray Wild for 10 years. These are Spike and Spiny. Spike is the male, Spiny is the female. They've been with me for 10 years, and in all that time, I have never once had to give them water. Not because I forgot, but because they don't need it. What I'm going to show you in this episode is exactly why. If you're fascinated by animals that have found impossible biological solutions to survive where nothing else can, subscribe to Ray Wild and hit the bell. Because here, we don't just watch animals, we live with them. Spike and Spiny have been teaching us things for 10 years. And tell me in the comments, did you know the Uromastyx never drinks water? Today, I'm gonna give them a bit of hibiscus leaves and flower. They love it. And as you could see before, they were hungry. We feed them every other day. I just prefer feeding them less quantities and more often. Keeps them more active. This is the winter enclosure. We have a bigger one for summer being built, and I'm gonna show you how I build it also and what your Uromastyx needs. Its optimal body temperature is 47 degrees Celsius. Most reptiles run at a body temperature close to their surroundings. The Uromastyx doesn't. It needs to reach between 38 and 47 degrees Celsius of body heat for its digestion to work, for its immune system to function properly, for its metabolism to stay efficient. That's why it actively seeks out heat. Uromastyx favor dark volcanic rocks that hit 65 to 70 degrees at the surface. By flattering the body and orienting it perpendicular to the sun, they maximize the absorbing surface. Melanism, the dark zones of the body, amplifies heat absorption and lets them reach operating temperature faster in the morning. It runs a thermoregulation program that operates on its own. Watch a Uromastyx across the day and it looks like a clockwork. Early on, perpendicular to the sun, maximum absorption. When the sun climbs too high, it rotates the body to shrink the exposed surface. If the heat keeps rising, it lifts itself up on its legs to increase ventilation. All of this without conscious thought. Speaking of UV radiation and heat, DFT Reptile actually sent me a lamp this week that I've been wanting to test for a while. It's the UVB 10.0 Desert 26 watts, and I've installed it directly in Spike's enclosure. What interested me about this lamp is that it's designed specifically for desert reptiles. High, stable UVB and UVA output, aiming to replicate the real conditions of a properly set up environment. With the Uromastyx, this matters more than usual, because an animal that is in the Sahara takes direct solar radiation. For hours, every single day needs, in captivity, a UVB source that lives up to that. What stood out most to me is the lifespan, 5,000 hours of stable performance. That beats the average for compact UVB lamps on the market. And in an animal that depends on UV radiation to assimilate calcium and vitamins, a lamp's stability over time is not a minor detail. You can find the link in the description if you keep desert reptiles. It's worth a look. It doesn't drink water ever, and it survives in the Sahara. 10 years with Spike and Spiny, and not once I've seen them drink. It isn't for lack of access, it's because they don't need it. The Uromastyx draws all the water it needs from the vegetation it eats. Desert plants already under severe water stress. Its metabolic water extraction efficiency outstrips that of almost any known land vertebrate. It has an external kidney, the nasal salt gland. There's something every Uromastyx keeper notices at some point: a crystalline white powder around the nostrils. That powder is salt. The Uromastyx has hypertrophied nasal glands that filter excess sodium and potassium straight out of the blood plasma and expel it. As the water evaporates, that white residue is left behind. They call it snolt. It's the Sahara's excess salt, expelled without spending a single drop of body water. Hi, how are you? Good morning. Yeah, they love you. Mammals excrete waste nitrogen dissolved in urine. They need water to do it. The Uromastyx excretes it as uric acid in near solid form, like a white paste. A mammal that same size would need liters of urine to clear the same nitrogen load. The Uromastyx does it with a few drops. One of the most efficient water conservation strategies in the animal kingdom. Saharan vegetation in summer is scarce, fibrous, loaded with salt and defensive compounds that make it indigestible to most animals. The Uromastyx has a colon with a fermentation chamber colonized by cellulose specialist bacteria, similar to what cows have, but in a reptile. That gives it exclusive access to a resource its competitors can't touch. In summer, she's fat, huh? In summer, it switches to seeds, not for water, for calories. It isn't looking for hydration, it's looking for energy. The water it manages separately, through its specialized systems. We're gonna feed these lunatics a bit and see how they behave. They are great, they are great. I love them. They love this. Good boy. Didn't like it as much as the flower. They prefer flowers. Yeah, he's gonna... Careful, man. They are very, they've been awake. Like, look, the colors. This is Spike. Last year he was in the vet like 6 times. There is something with his tail going on. Spiny is doing great. But we had to cut because he was developing a sort of a necrosis. But they are doing perfect. That's why I have them in here. It's also a species that brumates. I prefer a lighter brumation, even though they could brumate outside, outdoors. Yeah? Oh, there you go. The Uromastyx tail makes up to 30 to 35% of the animal's total length. It's rigid across the last 2/3 and flexible at the base, generating a lateral strike arc of up to 180 degrees. Strikes from adults of the largest species have registered forces capable of fracturing the exoskeleton of medium-sized snakes. It also works as a wedge. When it shelters in a rock crevice, it inflates its body and angles the tail into place, becoming an anatomical plug. The harder you try to pull it out, the tighter it wedges. The most passive and most effective defense in the desert. The orange on black of the flame morph isn't a whim. It's physics and sexual selection. The coloration comes from 3 layers of pigment cells: erythrophores, orange red, xanthopores, yellow, and melanophores, black. The flame morph expresses maximum erythrophore density over a base of hyperpigmented melanophores, the effect of a glowing ember over charcoal. But the melanism isn't only aesthetic. The dark dorsal zones absorb more infrared radiation, letting the animal reach operating temperature faster. The darkest males are the most dominant. With age, males develop increasingly intense ventral and cephalic melanization. The darkest males are the oldest and the most territorially dominant. Sexually selection has acted directly on color. A Uromastyx may spend weeks digging a functional burrow, up to 1 meter deep and several meters long. At that depth, the temperature is stable between 20 and 30 degrees, and relative humidity rises up to 50 to 90%. It's a microclimate, completely different from the inferno on the surface. To lose it is to lose everything. After eating, the Uromastyx descends and stays still for hours. The constant temperature at the depth optimizes the activity of its fermenting bacteria. It's like having an external rumen that it uses deliberately. Communication is entirely visual, no vocalizations. The dominant male raises its body up on all 4 limbs, stilting, showing the maximum lateral profile. It performs slow head movements to display its belly, the most pigmented zone. If the rival doesn't back down, the escalation ends in a high-speed chase with bites to the opponent's tail. At the midday thermal peak, when the rock passes 65 degrees, the predators retreat. Only the Uromastyx stays active. It's the only animal on the surface. It has turned the inferno into its zone of exclusivity. One of the things that strikes me most about Spike is the precision with which he orients to the sun. It isn't random. Early on, perpendicular. When the heat rises, he rotates. It's a program he runs on his own, without anyone ever teaching it to him. 10 years watching this behavior and it still amazes me. They've turned their disadvantage into advantages. The Uromastyx has no sweat glands, no high efficiency lungs, no social mammal brain, but it has 60 million years of selective pressure concentrated into every adaptation. The dependence on heat that would look like a vulnerability becomes a barrier that locks out all its competitors. Herbivory of toxic plants gives it exclusive access to an unlimited resource, and needing no water removes any dependence on watering holes. They are amazing creatures. He's doing great. I just have to be on top of him. Spiny is doing super great. It's good that you get them used to you, but just don't be annoying them every day, like grabbing them. It just stresses the animals. And reptiles a lot, and birds also. It's not a dog, it's different. The Sahara has been killing things for millions of years. It has killed ecosystems, entire species, civilizations that tried to cross it. The Uromastyx didn't cross it. It stayed, and it began to thrive where everything else disappeared. It has something hard to imitate: 60 million years of selective pressure, concentrated into every scale, into every ring of its tail, into every bacterium in its colon, into every crystal of white salt around its nose. Spike and Spiny have been at Ray Wild for 10 years. They've never drunk water. They've never needed anyone to save them from the heat. They've simply done what they've been doing for 60 million years, existing where others can't.